Look at this colourful array of fondant goodness. So you will probably have gathered, if you are familiar with him, this is Mario. Super Mario, the famous computer game character. And this little fella is one of the other characters, a little mushroom dude. This was a special request because this is the birthday boy's favourite little character along with Mario himself. So we've got elements of the computer game all around the cake. The little, I don't know what this is called, but it's like a little sort of snapping plant. And then this little dude, I'm again not sure what it is, but in the game Super Mario has to jump on these blocks, has to collect these coins, has to contend with, I believe this is a baddie because it looks snappy, and this little plant thing. These are coins that he collects, and the game itself is sort of set with a sort of blue background and green on the bottom, and he sort of travels through these obstacles collecting the coins. So for this one, it's a 2D fondant character. Quite easy to do, quite time consuming. You can get cutters, to cut all these individual parts out, but if I was to buy a cutter for every custom made cake that required them, I'd probably only ever use them once, and it'd end up quite expensive. So what I did was I downloaded an image on the computer and just traced it off the screen. Used a bit of greaseproof paper because it's see-through, traced it, and then I just cut out the little bits on the greaseproof paper and traced them onto fondant. As I say, it's quite time consuming doing it that way, and you do get sort of raggedy edges, but if you just spend a bit of time smoothing the edges out, you can get a really good effect for not very many pennies. So that I'm really pleased with. He's sat just sort of not flush with the cake, he sort of stands off a bit, so he's 2D, but he's looking kind of 3D. His nose is just a big ball of fondant. I used a cocktail stick. Once I'd made all this, I used a cocktail stick and just inserted it in where I wanted the nose to go. Waited till this had set, not completely solid, but hard enough to sort of stick it onto the cocktail stick with a little bit of royal icing behind to hold it in place while the royal icing sets. So I will inform my customer that he has a big stick behind his nose before they dive into it. And this topper, it's to make it out of solid fondant, it would be very heavy. So this is, if you just see underneath, need to tidy those little raggedy bits up, but it's a big polystyrene ball, and all I've done is shaved the very bottom of it off to create this flat base for the mushroom top. And again, this round ball here is another polystyrene ball just wrapped in fondant. Again, I shaved the very top of his head off so that it would sit fairly flush with this, and then I've just inserted a cocktail stick or a wooden skewer, something a little bit stronger, through the whole lot, and then inserted that in the cake. And with it being polystyrene, it's so lightweight that it just sort of it stays there. You can hear that that's a polystyrene ball, and it's non-edible, obviously, but to create an effect like that to make it all edible would be expensive and tricky. So I used polystyrene quite a bit when it comes to big cake toppers. It's just easier, it's lightweight, it doesn't squash the cake. You'll see in a few of my videos that I like to use polystyrene because, I mean, look at the effect. It's just super, isn't it? So the colours on this one just pop, absolutely adorable. The lettering, the game lettering is sort of like this blue on black and green on black and yellow on black and sort of like the primary colours on a black background. The font isn't exactly the same as this, but I've tried to sort of capture the similarities. There we are. With that, so I've just used one of my fondant cutters and one of my letter cutters and just tried to sort of resemble the lettering a bit, and I think it works perfectly. Little tweaks you can make when trying to copy a design. You know, they don't have to be spot on, just as long as you sort of follow the colours, then you can achieve great things. So this is then, I've wrapped red ribbon around the base. I always put ribbons around the base of my boards. You don't have to, but I just think it frames the cake, it finishes it, it makes it look more professional, and it just, again, makes it pop. The red ties in with the rest of the colours, and it's just beautiful. I love this. I love how it's turned out. I've done a bit of green shading with some food colouring, some colour splash I used for this. Just gel colouring mixed with a little bit of water, paintbrush, and just put some little details around the bottom. Some little fondant clouds. I used a impression mat to create this brick effect because these, as I say, he jumps on these, collects coins. Sometimes these yellow blocks, I believe, have got like mystery things in them, and I remember playing Super Mario when I was a wee child. So there we are, that's Super Mario for Frankie on his 8th birthday. This little dude is so cute.